1978, in the icy silence of the Karakoram Mountains, something unusual had started. Foreign climbers, mostly from Europe, were being allowed to explore a remote glacier called Siachen, with permission from Pakistan. But here's the problem. The glacier wasn't clearly marked as Pakistan's land. In fact, its ownership had never been clearly decided. Let me explain. Back in 1971, after the war between India and Pakistan, both countries signed a peace deal called the Shimla Agreement. It officially drew the line of control or LOC in Jammu and Kashmir, but the LOC stopped at a point called NJ 9842. From there, the agreement simply said, thence north to the glaciers. No map, no coordinates, just vague direction. And beyond that vague point lay Siachen, a massive glacier over 70 kilometers long. No one lived there, no roads, no posts, just endless snow. But now, in 1978, Pakistan had quietly started acting like it was theirs, giving climbing permits and showing Siachen on maps as part of Pakistan. That's when India realized this wasn't just snow, it was a strategic land. If we stayed silent, we might lose control over it permanently. By the early 1980s, Indian intelligence agencies had confirmed it. Pakistan was planning something big. They had ordered high-altitude gear from Europe, the type used in polar regions. This meant only one thing. Pakistan wanted to send troops to occupy Siachen Glacier. If they took Siachen, it would give them a direct view of Indian army movements in Ladakh. And even worse, it could help them connect their positions with China in the north, creating a huge security threat for India. India couldn't let that happen. We had two options, wait and react, or move first and prevent. We chose the second, quietly, quickly and boldly. India decided to take the glacier before a single shot was fired. On April 13, 1984, India launched a mission, Operation Meghadoot. In the early morning, Indian Air Force helicopters lift off from their bases in Leh and Toys, carrying soldiers into the world's highest battlefield. There were no landing zones, no flat ground. Troops had to jump onto solid ice, then climb, carrying weapons and gears, to regions over 20,000 feet, where oxygen is low, temperatures drop below 50 degrees Celsius, and nothing, not even bacteria can survive. The first to move in were from the Kumaon Regiment and Ladakh Scouts, experts in high-altitude warfare. They carried weapons, tents, ropes, fuel and food on their backs and climbed unmapped glaciers filled with hidden crevasses and avalanche zones. There were no roads, no detailed maps, just snow, ice and danger in every direction. What happened next wasn't a traditional war, because in Siachen, nature is the real enemy. Soldiers faced frostbite, thin air, snow blindness and pulmonary edema, a condition where the lungs fill with fluid due to lack of oxygen. Blizzards could last for 15 days straight. One wrong step could trigger an avalanche. Helicopters flew just once or twice a day, only if weather allowed. Supplies had to be airdropped, and even talking was difficult because the voice could freeze mid-air. Over the years, more than 800 Indian soldiers have lost their lives here, not to enemy bullets, but to cold altitude and the extreme weather. Yet, they stay 24 hours a day, 365 days a year to protect something most people will never see. Operation Meghadoot worked. India took control of the entire Siachen Glacier, including the key passes Biaflon La, Sia La, and later Gyeong La. Pakistan was too late. By the time their soldiers reached the glacier, Indian troops were already in place, and we have held that positions ever since 1984. Even today, Indian flags fly over those frozen peaks. Our soldiers rotate in and out every few months, but the glacier never sleeps. In the years that followed, Siachen saw more than snow and silence. There were clashes and movements on incredible courage. In 1987, Pakistan managed to capture a high-altitude post at over 21,000 feet, but India didn't back down. Naib Subedar Bana Singh led the team of soldiers, climbing a vertical ice wall in freezing winds and retaking the post in hand-to-hand combat. That same post was renamed Bana Post, the highest battlefield post in the world. For his bravery, Bana Singh was awarded the Paramveer Chakra, India's highest military honor. But Siachen is not just about bravery, it's also about strategy. From the glacier, India can watch over both Pakistan movements in Gilgit-Balochistan and China's activity near the Karakoram Pass. Holding Siachen means keeping two critical borders under control. Giving it up would risk national security permanently, but protecting Siachen comes at a cost. It's estimated that India spends around 5 crore every single day to keep troops stationed there. That's because everything has to be airlifted. Fuel, food, oxygen, medicines, and heavy winter gear. Helicopters fly through narrow mountain valleys to reach soldiers posted on the glacier. Soldiers go through months of high-altitude training before they are posted. It's physically and mentally demanding, but necessary for survival at that height. And still, they go, because the cost of losing Siachen would be far greater than the price of holding it. Operation Meghadoot wasn't just a military success. It was a message that India will never stay silent when its borders are in danger, that even in the coldest, harshest place on earth, Indian soldiers will stand tall. And they have since 1984 till today. So the next time you sleep in a warm bed or look up at a peaceful sky, remember someone is standing on ice at 20,000 feet just to keep that way. Never forget the ones who stand for us, even in the coldest corners of the world. To all our heroes on the Siachen Glacier, we salute you. If this story inspired you, please like, share and subscribe to my channel. Until next time, stay curious and always stay grateful. Signing off, Page Pulse Bailey. See you next time.